let's talk about using tables, graphs, and equations with constant of proportionality. So Miguel rode his bike 20 miles in 2.5 hours. If he rode his bike in 2.5 hours, we have to start with our information. What are the variables? The variables that we're using are miles and hours. Between miles and hours, the independent variable is hours, because how many miles he rode depends on how many hours he's been riding. So hours is the independent variable and miles is the dependent variable. To find the unit rate, we're going to put our dependent variable over our independent variable. So 20 miles divided by 2.5 hours. 20 divided by 2.5 is 8. So he rode 8 miles per hour. All right, so we're going to take this information and we're going to make a table. When you make a table, your X, or your independent variable, the input, goes in the top, and the Y, or the dependent variable, which is the output, is what you get when you plug something in for X, that goes on the bottom. My X is given to me. I have my hours and my miles. The X's listed in the table are 0, half an hour, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, and 2.5 hours. So if he is riding 8 miles per hour, then if 0 hours has passed, he's ridden 0 miles. If half an hour has passed, 1/2 times 8 is 4. He's gone 4 miles. If it's been 1 hour, 1 times 8 is 8. If it's been 1.5 hours, that's 12. 2 hours would be 16, and 2.5 would be 20. Using the information from the table, we're going to create a graph. We're going to take the points from this graph, or from this table, and put it on a graph. So for a graph, you have ordered pairs. It's X, Y. Your X comes first, then your Y. So when I have 0 for my X, then I'm going to have 0 for my Y. When I have 5/10 for my X, then I'm going to have 4 for my Y. So I'm taking this table and I'm writing down my ordered pairs. I have 0, 0, 5/10, 4, 1, 8, 1.5, 12, 2, 16, 2.5, 20. Label your X and your Y axis. The X axis is going to represent hours, and the Y axis is going to represent miles. And then you need to number your axis using equivalent increments. So if you're going to go by 1, you have to consistently go by 1. If you're going to go by 2, you have to consistently go by 2. So for this graph, I'm going to go by 5/10. And for my y-axis, I'm going to go by 4s. And now you graph your points. Remember that you run before you jump. So 0, 0 is going to start at the origin. 5/10, 4, we're going to go to the right until we're at 5/10, and then we're going to go up 4 and put a point. For 1, 8, we're going to go to the right 1, go up 8, put a point. 1.5, 12, go to the right 1.5, up 12. 2, 16, go to the right 2, up 16. and 2.5, 20, go to the right 2.5, and up 20. And you always connect your points with a line. Draw a line through all the points, and that gives you your graph. To make an equation for Miguel's word problem, equations are represented by your dependent variable is equal to the constant times the independent variable. So you're going to leave y and x, and you're just going to replace k with your constant. Your constant is the same thing as your unit rate. So y equals 8x. And the constant of proportionality is 8. All right, number 6 says the library charged Monica 50 cents for a book that was 10 days overdue. So our variables are each day that it's overdue and the money they charge every day that it's overdue. So money and days. How many days it's overdue and money are going to tell us what our independent and dependent variables are. How much she pays depends on how many days that it's late. So days is going to be the independent variable, and money is going to be the dependent variable. So days is independent, money is dependent. To find the unit rate, we're going to take the money that she owes and divide it by how many days the book is overdue. 50 cents divided by 10. And that gives us 5 cents per day. So she pays 1 nickel every single day that it's late. To make a table, I'm going to put days on top and money on bottom. And I want to know how much she owes for 0 days, 2 days, 4 days, 6 days, 8 days, and 10 days. Well, if her book is not overdue, then she doesn't owe any money. Remember we said that the constant is 5 cents. So if it's 2 days overdue, then 2 times 5 cents is going to be 10 cents. She owes 5 cents for the first day, 5 cents for the second day. That gives 10 cents altogether. For the 4th day, that will be 20 cents. For the 6th day, that will be 30 cents. For the 8th day, that will be 40 cents. And then on the 10th day, we said that she owed 50 cents. I'm going to take the ordered pairs on this table, or the numbers from this table, and make ordered pairs. So I have 0, 0, 2, 10 cents, or 1/10, 4, 2 tenths, 6, 3 tenths, 8, 4 tenths, and 10, 5 tenths. We said that the X is days. Remember to label your X and Y axis. Y axis is money charged, or money that she's due to pay. And then I'm going to make my X axis in increments of 2. And my Y axis, I'm going to go by tenths. And now I label, or I plot my points. I have 0, 0. So I'm going to start at the origin, 0, 0. I have 2, 1/10, go to the right 2, up to 1/10. 4, 2 tenths. 6, 3 tenths. 8, 4 tenths. And 10, 5 tenths. Now I can connect these points, and that is my graph. To write the equation for this, we're going to have y equals our constant times the x. So y equals 5/100 x. and the constant of proportionality is 5 hundredths.